Greetings everybody, Maximus here, coming to you from Murphy Canyon in San Diego, the site of the most recent tragic plane crash. I know I haven't covered it very much for you, but it's been well covered and documented on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else. However, I did want to take a walk down here today to show you the progress that's being made and the cleanup. The NTSB has pretty much finished their investigation, and now it's up to the San Diego authorities to do the cleanup, and it's been quite impressive. So I thought that I would come down here, show it to you, show you the neighborhood, and show you some of the things that are involved.
Breaking news out of a military housing community in San Diego. Multiple people are confirmed dead after a small private business jet trying to land at a nearby airport crashed into this neighborhood.
We know that this was the last recorded position of the flight. This is Murphy Canyon here. You can see the streets and the neighborhoods. We also know there were high tension wires in this area, and there's a bit of a hilltop here.
Hey guys, come out! Everyone out of the area, come on!
Greetings everybody, Maximus here, back in the studio, of course, as you can see. You know, I ran into so much noise, construction equipment. Hey, it was Memorial Day. People were partying, riding their motorcycles, lots of airplanes. So there was a lot of sound noise in the background. So I'm going to voice over a lot of what I shot today for you. It'll be easier for you and easier for me. So let's look at it. Well, you can see why I started with the news footage, because I wanted to highlight the stark difference between the devastation initially and what's going on now. Across the street was the second point of impact, where the men are restoring the water and power and utilities, and they're doing a great job in the hazmat suits. They're almost completed. The smell of aviation fuel is almost completely gone. You can see that house that took the brunt of it with the severe fire that had the pickup truck in the front. Very visible, but thankfully nobody lost their life in that house, but there was a lot of damage. And looking down the street where the utter destruction took place, where it was littered of burning cars and unfortunately victims from the plane, you can see it's all manicured again and looking really good. The city of San Diego, and I'm sure the military, are doing a great job getting it cleaned up and ready for its occupants to return. And it is a lovely neighborhood. It's a very densely populated neighborhood. And, you know, thankfully there wasn't more damage or loss of life on the ground because it is a pretty heavily populated military housing development. As you can see behind me, it's a very populated area full of mostly military people, especially today on this holiday weekend. Everybody's out grilling, barbecuing. But there could have been a much more tragic situation unfold here. So all in all, we have to be thankful for that. Okay, now I'm in the car, and there's a reason I'm driving to what's going to be the most important part of this video, because I'm going to show you the initial contact point of the crash. But this is just some more B-roll. Look, you see the kids playing. When I was here today, this neighborhood there were so many children, there were so many people barbecuing. There was just, it's such a tightly packed, it's a wonderful, beautiful place for our military to live. It really is. But I can't stress enough just how fortunate they all were that this wasn't so much more dangerous, because this development is right on the flight path of a very dangerous airport, and that was evident again by the crash that took place here. Here I'm turning out of the development onto Santo Road, and you can see there's some cranes up in the distance there. We're going to visit those in a second. There's a ball field and recreation center here on the right, and as I'm driving I came across, I wasn't expecting it. I knew it was there. Pardon my finger. I'm zooming in. But I wasn't expecting it. But you're going to see as I drive up here on the right, I come across the light pole, and I'm going to pull over as soon as I see it. There it is, a little bit on the right. It caught my eye. I didn't know it was still there, but fortunately it was still there. And we are going to get out, and we are going to look at that right now. Now here you can see this is a very tall light pole. This is the mangled point of impact. Whoops. Matter of fact, you can see sorry for the jump. But this is the flight pattern for this. This is the light pole. It's still cautioned off. Coming up to the base of it. This is a bit of a hill, a bit of a berm where it was, and then you can see from here to where the light pole was sheared across the street. I hope this works because the sun is right in there, but that is the most damaged house. That's the trigger point at the beginning of the street where I just was. It shows you where there's a lot of plane, another one flying overhead as well. And you can see right here, this is a ball field across the street, right across the street from the accident site. And if you look over here, you can see this is the base of the pole that was sheared off by the plane. These are lights that were used to light the field, which is what was struck by the plane. So you can see how close. Here's the tip. There's the scoreboard. Here's the ball field. Happened early in the morning when nobody was around, but this could have been quite a catastrophe. Let me know if I'm boring you. I can't tell, but this is just some more footage. Look at that concrete pole. It was reinforced rebar there in the distance. The high tension wires, which you can see was snapped off. Here are the lights that lit the ball field, scattered all around the base. There's my shadow. More lights. Just getting some more images of that. Like I said, I don't know if I'm boring you or not, but this is some of what I found. Okay, so now would be a good time to interrupt myself to get our bearings. First, here is where the airport is in relation to the crash site. You can see it's a good distance, but it's not exactly in line, but it's pretty close. Then you can see the SDGE power poles, the power lines that they're working on, that the plane struck first. Then if you move forward, you see the ball field lights that we're standing under, as I'm explaining this to you at the moment, on the site, where they fell, and then followed by the midway point where they were working on the utilities, and then the final destination. And you can see how, as they say, all the holes in the Swiss cheese lined up in the fog that day. This is the top of an SDGE pole. Hang on a second. This is right out of the neighborhood. This place is just busy and crazy. So here's the top of the SDGE pole, right? This was the first probably area struck by the plane coming down. Now here we zoom out, and now we're on the ball field. Here we are, baseball diamond, walking across the ball field. There is the scoreboard. Okay. See that on the ground there? What we're looking at there are the lights of the ball field. That was empty at the time. And then if we look over here, the light pole. That was sheared off at the base, and then down below you can see the lights. Now I'm going to show you the distance between where the light pole was and where it landed, so stick with me here. Well, you know what, let me cut away and I'll come back. This is the bulb from one of the lights sitting on the field. Okay, so here we're on the other side. Here's the baseball diamond. Here's the sheared pole. Here are the lights. Now I'm going to show you as we travel across this bridge, through this field, under this tree, all the way over here is the base of the light. And this is the stanchion that was the light for the ball field. That landed over here on this side of this tree. Which then, sorry for the sunlight, I don't know how any of this is going to turn out. Which then went over and struck that house, the one that was burnt the most. Okay, so here we are across the street where the actual impact took place. There's the ball field where we were. Let's zoom out so I don't get hit. First point of impact here is where these men are repairing the storage. Then we came across the street here, and then it struck that house, of course, and then that street. Well, that's going to wrap up my trip on Memorial Day. You know, a lot of times we see the worst of crashes, we see them when they happen, but we don't see what happens afterwards. So I thought, since it was in my neighborhood, I'd take you down and show you how it is when the healing begins. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it wasn't boring or confusing. But either way, let me know down below in the comment section and we'll talk about it. And oh, pay no attention to that poster over my left shoulder there. However, it is a tease for an upcoming video, but you're going to have to watch and find out. Until next time, as always, this is Maximus.